It was June of 1856 when the first riverboat named the Omaha arrived in Sioux City. It not only brought the first teacher to town, it also opened the door to an era of westward expansion.
Now, the most respected person piloting riverboats during that time was Grant Marsh. Not only did he take part in the longest riverboat race in history, he also rescued the survivors of Custer's last stand. Today, Grant Marsh is the focus of our hometown history.
Everybody ran to the river to see what the boat was bringing, who the boat was bringing.
The Pennsylvania-born Grant Marsh began his steamboat career as a cabin boy at the age of 12, later becoming good friends with another steamboat worker named Samuel Clemens, who later became the famous humorist Mark Twain. Marsh eventually began piloting a variety of boats on the Missouri for Sanford Colson and the Colson Line, calling Sioux City his home port. While in Sioux City, Marsh took part in the longest riverboat race in history. In 1872, he captained the Nellie Peck against the Far West, from Sioux City to Fort Benton, Montana, and back. Marsh's Nellie Peck led the race for 1,300 miles, but when Marsh decided to turn over the helm and get a little bit of sleep, well, it hit a sandbar. The Nellie Peck was beat by the Far West by 3 hours. Sioux City was just a temporary stop on Marsh's career.
Commodore Colson, who had been in Sioux City, he had realized that Yankton would be the next up-and-coming riverboat port.
Through the years, Marsh ferried loads of military supplies and personnel up the Missouri. In 1876, that included piloting the Far West with an aggressive General George Custer and Custer's 7th Cavalry to the Little Bighorn in what's now Montana.
He was going to be the guy that was going to finally put this Indian rebellion to rest.
But Custer was killed along with more than 260 others. 52 wounded survivors did make it back to the Far West.
They were loading the Far West. I think they were finished loading about 2 a.m.
Fearful of another attack, Marsh then began a perilous journey back to Fort Lincoln near Bismarck.
I mean, these were rivers that he himself had just arrived on for the first time the day before when they had first gotten there. It wasn't like it was a river he knew very well.
Even well-known parts of the river pose a danger from sandbars, decaying trees, and floating debris, sinking more than 300 steamships from Omaha up the mighty Missouri. Evidence of those dangers can still be seen these days in the river. But Marsh managed to pilot the Far West back day and night, safely traveling more than 700 miles in a record 54 hours. The rescue adding more to his legendary status. He was once so famous they even built a statue to him on the side of the Missouri River here in Yankton, South Dakota. While he may have called Sioux City and Yankton home, he was rarely home.
His wife Katie, who was a steamboat widow, they had 5 kids. And she was alone most of the time. You know, he was gone a lot. You know, the only time he'd be home is when the river was frozen.
Despite his success on the Missouri River, Grant Marsh is said to have died in near poverty at the age of 81. Now, he's buried in one of the highest spots at Bismarck, North Dakota, with a view of the Missouri River up there. And as you can see, his tombstone is engraved with the image of a steamboat.